Welcome back to the weekly Brooklyn Market Update brought to you by Engel & Volker's Brownstone Brooklyn. My name is Catriona Carney and I'm joined again today by Donald Brennan. Good afternoon, Donald.
Hey, Catriona, how are you today?
I'm good. The sun's out, so that always makes it feel better, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure does.
So let's talk about last week's new to market and in contract property listings in Brooklyn across the 16 key neighborhoods that we currently track. Our report covers all transactions, but also breaks out the below 2.25 million market from the luxury market that we classify as above 2.25 million. Co-ops, condos, townhouses, we cover them all because we know everyone's interested in them. So Donald, it looks like we had significant in-contract activity at all price points this past week. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, and just before I jump in there, I just want to remind our viewers that this is real-time data. This is actually what's happening in the marketplace the previous week, which I think is incredibly valuable information. And it's a little bit different from what you may see in our quarterly reports or any other firm's quarterly reports, which is backward-looking information based on sales that were in contract for some period of time that were in the market way before then as well. So that's all kind of lagging indicators. This is really, really valuable and useful, I think, for anybody who's in the market today, either on the buy side or sell side, just so you understand what's happening, because you can't just look at headlines. You got to understand what the participants doing out in the marketplace. So we're going to share observations later, but looking at the data, it kind of supports that. So a lot of activity last week, way above the previous week. Total deals that came to market last week were 95, with 98 of those things, townhouses, co-ops, condos that were available going into contract. And that's a big jump over the previous 2 weeks ago. On the luxury end of that segment of the market, was 23 deals going into contract, was a 360% increase over the 5 deals that occurred 2 weeks ago. On the rest of the market, 75 deals went into contract. That's a 55% increase over the 49 deals that it went into contract 2 weeks ago. So, a lot happening out there right now.
So how has all that in contract activity affected the new to market list prices that we saw last week?
So breaking down the into the 2 segments we kind of profile here as the upper end of 2.25 and above. We do show some increases, seller expectations increasing over 2 weeks ago. So average sale price in the luxury sector, 3.9 million, which is an 8% increase over 2 weeks prior. The median price, 3.3 million, which is a 14% increase over 2 weeks prior. On the rest of the market, under 2.25, we have an average price asking of 1.2, which is a 9% increase over 2 weeks ago. And in the median price, 1.2, which is a 33% over the 990,000 median asking price 2 weeks ago. So seller expectations are rising.
Obviously, lots of people are interested always in the townhouse market. What's the average list price for a new to market townhouse that we saw in last week's data?
Yeah, so similarly, expectations are rising on the townhouse segment. The luxury side of that, we're at on an average ask 4.26 million, which is a 6% increase over 2 weeks ago, which was just over 4 million. And under the 2.25 line, we have an average price asking of 1.59, which is an 8% increase over 2 weeks ago when it was 1.46.
So let's talk about luxury condo market, because that's always interesting to people. Those condos that are priced above 2.25 million. Was there much activity in that area last week?
As far as the condominiums go, not a lot. There was 2 resales that came to market, and their average price between the 2 of them was just over 3 million, 3.05 million. And 2 sponsor units entered the market as well, and they averaged 2.77 million. 1 sponsor unit went into contract at 3.25 million. So not a lot going on there for condos. Townhouses, kind of a completely different story. 19 townhouse resales went into contract last week with an average price last asking of 3.83 million, which equates to about a $1,123 per square foot asking price.
So are there any neighborhood movements that you would like to talk about that you found interesting looking at last week's data?
Yeah, so I'm gonna share some data here, and that is just kind of sampling of all the neighborhoods we look at, and it's not it's not exhaustive, but there was some really good activity in Park Slope, Williamsburg, Prospect Heights, Carroll Gardens, and Cobble Hill. Carroll Gardens, it was primarily townhouse activity. Close to 80% of townhouse resales occurring there, and the balance being condo resales. In Park Slope, there was an equal amount of co-ops trading, as well as resales of condos, and the balance there was townhouses and sponsor condo units. Williamsburg was almost 80% of condo resales, which is a small piece of new development condo going into contract. And Prospect Heights actually showing a very large portion of those deals as being co-ops, the next largest portion being townhouse resales. And I was out in a couple of these neighborhoods over the weekend with a client of mine, looking in the $2 to $3 million range for townhouses. 2 or 3 family is kind of the target here, and really pleasantly surprised with the number of people out and looking. Now, always we have a wide range of product available in the marketplace. Some that was purposed as rental, which in most instances does need a lot of work to kind of bring up to contemporary modern standards and usage, if you're going to be an owner occupant, and some other things that are a little bit nicer, but still not coming across a lot of developer product for my particular client in the market. So I was just curious, Katrina, I know you are out there as well. What did you see on the street?
Yeah, I was in Fort Greene and Clinton Hill looking at the 2-bedroom apartment market, co-ops and condos. And there are a lot of people out, a lot of listings that have come on in the last 4 weeks that were generating interest, as well as some that have been a little bit longer. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it didn't necessarily feel any different to what it felt like this time last year. A lot of people realizing that now's the time to act. Interest rates are low. There are opportunities for people if they're willing to take them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think obviously some pent up demand here, some new inventory coming on, and maybe some sellers willing to make concessions that maybe they weren't previously. So, a little bit more meeting of the minds between the sides. But, just to me, overall, the takeaway was the volume of activity. It is very healthy, and it's a great thing to see going on here, because, as you know, lots of great neighborhoods to live in, lots of different blocks, lots of different housing types, something for everybody, and really enjoyed going out there and seeing what was going on firsthand.
And it's great that the data supports that activity that you see in person.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it from us. Check back in next week for more accurate and informed observations on the Brooklyn property market. And of course, as usual, direct message, email, telephone, all the contact details will follow the video. Goodbye from me.
Thanks, Katriana. Looking forward to chat next week again.